Hello tutors, it's me Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today it's going back to an old project. I won't be starting it yet, but I just thought as I was moving this bag of new figures around, I'd quickly show it. This was part of my long-stalled Indian Mutiny collection, project, whatever you want to call it. As the title hopefully will suggest, they're Empress miniature figures again. I may have done the figures maybe slightly different, not so much more the skin tones and that. I constantly evolve and change my painting to a degree, sometimes to suit the climate of obviously what the figures are in this case India. But yeah, 1857, and this is part of my regiment, and it's the 64th of foot, I had to think then. In the Indian Mutiny. As usual with me, didn't think it through, and was, as you can see here by the nice clean metal figures, I was 3 figures short. It just stalled then. I went on to other things and never got back to it, and even did think of selling the unit once it was finally done. I won't be. I'll keep it unless I'm really broken, then I might have to, but I'll build on it with other units, you know, as time permits and finances. There are 2 ensigns on this stand here, as you just about see. He's holding his hand for a colour there, and this front hand here is also a colour. You can show them carrying colours, or you don't have to. A lot of the times these units were broken up into companies or wings. A wing is literally more or less half a battalion at that time, usually controlled by one of the junior lieutenant colonel and one of the majors. But again, it just so much sickness, fevers and that were killing people, left cholera, you know, left, right and centre, never mind what the enemy was doing. So they would often be commanded by whoever was the senior at the time, but it wasn't unusual for, as I say, a battalion to be broken up and sent hither, you know, to different areas, especially in the mutiny, because they were flaring up all over the place, and you know, small garrisons were calling out for reinforcements and things. But yeah, usually when the regiment was in, or battalion of the regiment was in the field, they would be obviously have the senior lieutenant colonel would be usually running the whole regiment. British battalions, a lot of the time at that time, the numbered before they went mainly over to county names and other name distinctions, they were still numbered, and they would normally have just, you know, 1 battalion. Some would have 2, you know, but like 64th would have a single battalion. Later on, when they were amalgamated into the North and South Staffordshire Regiment, that whole reason was to put 2 battalions together. And then later on in 1959, it was amalgamated into my regiment, into the regiment that I knew and served in, which was just the Staffordshire Regiment, Prince of Wales's. So lovely figures again, sculpted by Paul Hicks. Originally these were the Iron Duke miniatures, I presume, and then obviously taken over by Empress themselves. But some very nice figures. I'd throw a bit more at these next time, I think. It's funny when you look at a unit and you go back to it, you say, oh well, I could have put a highlight here and a highlight there, or a more shadow areas in this and that. I'm looking at this guy sergeant here with his neck cloth and stuff, and thinking, yeah, I could have done a bit better with that, Gev. But it is what it is now. What I was trying to do was, rather than just everyone goes, oh, you know, khaki. Well, a lot of the time, especially in these early days, it wasn't just khaki as such. There was literally everything was being dyed locally by tiny manufacturers. And there was a whole host of colours, as you can see here, by greys and you name it. Some I've tried to show, at least one guy. This guy he's wearing his original cold service trousers, again just not beyond the realms of possibility. And this guy here, I can't look without turning everything around. I can't remember if I've painted him with the same. I think he might have had civilian trousers, I'm not sure. But they're literally, because of the climate, because of the conditions, uniforms were just rotting off people and tearing and not being able to be repaired properly. There was also one incident I remember reading in one of the British units where a soldier went past an officer or a civilian. Well, I can't remember the thing now, but he had actually ripped off the bays of as it was then, a billiard table, and made himself. I can't remember if he said he made himself a pair of trousers out of it or a shirt, just because they were in such short. Everything was in such short supply. So yeah, it's always been an interest of mine. I've got loads of interest in military history. The Indian Mutiny has always been one of them. It's not PC these days, but it was an important part of forming British India as it was then, and there's a lot of bravery shown by these lads, not just of my unit but of all the units out there. Including the Indian units that we'd raised and remained loyal. It's very very interesting military history time for those that fancy reading about it. I'll just show this one figure up close. It's the four. You get 4 in a pack, just to show you again roughly what you get. You could always remove bayonets. I often see, so much is done with bayonets, and you don't often see them without a bayonet. Whereas a bayonet always makes aiming slightly more problematical. These would be Enfield rifles, rifled muskets. There's a lot of talk that it was the entry of the Enfield into the Indian regiments of the Honourable East India Company, because they weren't Queen's regiments at the time, that sparked it all off. It wasn't really. It was. It wasn't even a real thing, if that makes sense. They weren't animal fat, but it was used as the agitators used it as an excuse to get the sepoys even more up in arms. Trouble was brewing for ages before that. I'm not going to go into it all now, especially with my memory. I'll probably get it all mixed up as usual. But yeah, films and stuff. It's all that the mutinies, the sepoys mutinied over the being forced to, bite into cartridges that were greased with animal fats and stuff, and obviously the ones that mutinied when they were being shown the drills and the rifle and stuff, yes, they did, but it was always coming to a head anyway. It was just another excuse to mutiny, if that makes sense. So, in my opinion. So yeah, these are your figures. That's what they look like unpainted. I've decided to go with these 3, just because they fit fairly decent. I put them on these bases because they were my own, so I decided to go for 6s. I wanted that more, chocker look. Obviously you can break them. I've just taken a photograph, which is why I've put these behind. But I'll see if we can get a wider view. Not really. That's as good as it gets. So I will have the 2. I've got the colours already. I've had them for ages when I bought the figures. But yeah, it's there's some lovely figures. The Zulu War figures, it's been a bit hard the last few days. My mother-in-law just passed away today, actually. My wife's over with her sisters. She had cancer, and she, I suppose, luckily for her, if you can be lucky with cancer, it hit her hard and fast, and she hasn't had to suffer too much. But so I think things have obviously been fairly fraught. This is my way. I just get on with just doing my figures and modelling. I can't do much else. for my wife. She's over there at the moment. I've got Nugget over here, my pop, or our pop. So yeah, I just wanted to say, so I am doing I'll just fish him out here. He's the only one that I'm just, as you can see, I'm just starting on the tartan trews. It's just obviously times, you know, all over the place at the moment. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw this up. I did say I was gonna get just another packet of figures for this unit, and get those done, and I'll show you these Zulu figures when I've got at least that one pair of trews done, which might be today, might be tomorrow. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. I appreciate you stopping by as always. I get some very nice comments and you know, support off you guys, and it's always greatly appreciated. But yeah, I will be holding on to this unit. You know, it's funny, you fish them out of a drawer and you look at them and you just think, yeah, I might do things slightly differently. I mean, you know, sometimes it comes and goes on with the skin. I wanted warmer skin. I mean, these guys weren't going to be pale like I've done the paratroopers or stuff, so I might have done things very slightly different on the next unit. The difference is, when you've left a unit for so long, is getting these new figures to merge in with the old figures. Because I just change my painting style from time to time. I go off on different tangents. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going away again, aren't I? So thank you very much. Next time you see this unit, they'll all be painted. I won't show you again till they're based, and I just thought of interest as I bought these figures with the Zulu war figures, just to quickly show you them in the raw. So you'll have these seen with all the, obviously, the rocks and tufts and the colours flying. That's the flags, for anybody that don't know what colours are. British Army, we call them colours. So yeah, look after yourselves. Another video, as I say, things are up and down obviously with my mother-in-law passing away. But next one will probably be the Zulu War figures, just to show you the plaid of the tartan that I've done, or the tartan trews would be probably more representative, wouldn't it? And I'm working on another ship at the moment, and before she goes into primer, I'll show her with all the bits and pieces on. And so thank you very much again, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.